Hi, I'm Dawn Montefusco, life coach for writers and creatives, and this is Write Your True Story, how to use your story to grow your business, inspire millions, and leave a legacy. And today we have Vanessa Talbot, who is a profile building alchemist. Her special brilliance is inspiring coaches and change makers to be seen and heard by boosting their profile and increasing their influence, resulting in their magnetic attraction for more leads, more clients, and more opportunities. She's also the author of Extraordinary You, The Art of Living a Lusciously Spirited, Vibrant Life, of which world-renowned thought leader Dr. John DeMartini said, is filled with gems of inner wisdom and inspiring stories that will expand your mind and help you truly live a more vibrant, authentic, and extraordinary life. I love reading that. Hi, Vanessa.
Hi, thank you so much.
Oh, it's so great having you. So tell us a little bit more about what you do and any projects you're working on.
So basically what I do is I help coaches, experts, people and change makers. That's my word for them, change makers. They're people like you're talking, want to get out there, transform the world, leave a legacy. And I help them get known so that they can actually attract rather than have to chase down.
Love it.
Clients, leads, and of course opportunities as well. So that's basically what I do. I help people get known. And we call that profile building.
That's great. That's great. I'm going to just jump in and ask you a question. Has authentic and vulnerable storytelling helped you attract your tribe, your leads? And tell us more about that.
Yeah, look, I'm really, really honest with the fact that I'm really shy, huge introvert, and total hermit as well. I live on a country property out in the middle of New South Wales in Australia. And that's where I have kangaroos, horses, bunnies, all the rest of them, because I do wildlife caring as well. So I've had to find a way. When I first started coaching, I needed to find a way to actually get clients, because I don't live anywhere where I can go networking or meet people. So I had to do it all online. But in my work that I graduated into, which was helping other people shine in the public eye, it was my story of I'm really shy, and if I can be doing this, if I can, me of all people, a hermit, an introvert, actually put myself up on things like this and build a community online, then it doesn't matter who you are or what you think about yourself, you can too. So that's how I use my story in that sense. And also, because I don't talk so much about a coaching business, I talk about building a coaching lifestyle.
I love this.
Yeah, so it's a lifestyle business for me, not just a coaching business.
Yeah.
And because of that, and I do show a lot of my lifestyle here on my country property, I attract the people who are also interested in building their own coaching lifestyle business, just by telling my story. And that's how it's worked for me.
I love that you're using the word lifestyle. It actually, it relieved some kind of pressure off me when you said that.
Yes.
As a coach, I thought, oh yeah, I don't, it's just who I am. It's what I do. And I think when we try to compartmentalize it, it almost makes it more stressful in terms of, yeah. Wow.
So, I get people who say, I want to do what you're doing, because, I can wake up at whatever time I want to. I don't actually usually start with clients or any work or anything until noon, because I spend the morning, out with my horses or caring for the animals that I've got coming through, which is why my clients always get to see kangaroos or something running around in the background.
Yeah.
They see that. And at the moment, if you hear any squawking or anything like that, it's because I've got an Australian galah here at the moment. She has a broken wing, so she will occasionally give a little squawk out. But yeah, so that's my life, and then when it's 4 o'clock, so I only do like from 12 to 4, and then it hits 4 o'clock and my daughter gets off the school bus. So then it stopped.
Yes.
And a lot of people want that too. It's called, obviously, freedom.
Yes.
You know, I'm not restricted by anything really. Like if I decide to work in the evening or fit a
Mhm.
client in the evening, if I want to, then I can. And if I don't, I want to sit on the couch and watch Netflix, then
Yes.
I can. But it's still about bringing structure in, but it's also allowing the lifestyle you want, because, you know, we all know that so many coaches get into coaching because they're attracted to the idea of working their own hours,
Yes.
their own time with the people that they pick and choose. But it ends up not being that way.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of
Oh, I
coaches get
know.
into it, yeah, and they're working like instead of 9 to 5, maybe what they came from, they find they're getting up at 6 in the morning and going through till midnight, and so
Mhm.
their hours have actually increased, all in this hustle of trying to get their business up. Well,
Totally.
I like to present and show another way.
You know, one of the things that I have learned and that I help people with is by being more vulnerable, more authentic, and more transparent to a degree, right? That when you can show the real you, when you're truly uh, uh, using your story of who you are, little stories during the day, bigger stories, that you build trust that actually alleviates this idea of push, right, to try to get your clients. And then all of a sudden they're attracted to you.
Mm.
How would you say that works in profile building in terms of, like, you know, we have a lot of people that like write websites, blogs, books. Um, Give us a tip or two, or how do you build a story about you uh, that's not too transparent? Like how do you help people with that?
You got to, I always say when I'm working with a client, and it's like working out what's your story. We have to understand, first of all, what you stand for, you as the coach. What do you stand for and what do you represent? And then secondly, what do your audience, the people that you want to attract to you, what do they need to hear and know most? And they're the parts of your story that you give them. Like you're saying, we don't have to give them every
Yeah.
icky detail of our life. We can pick and choose the bits that are going to serve our potential audience and our target market the best. And that way, and that's very much about part of what I call building an audience, tribe building, which at the end of the day is profile building as well. Um, and that's how I say it works best, when I'm working with clients. Pick and choose the
Mm.
bits of your story. And like you said, be vulnerable, be transparent. I'm really open about the fact, as I said, that I am a hermit and actually prefer the company of my animals at home than getting out and going to network meetings or something.
Yes, 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 yes. Tell us
Mm.
a little bit more about this word we use, trust, right? We're not in front of each other, we are, but when we open up our private world, and again, not too, it's where you feel comfortable, right? It's where you
I
feel
think, yes.
comfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But when we do open up to our private world, like you have with your animals, like you didn't have to put any of that on your website or any of that. But when we open up that private world, do you feel in terms of profile building that it actually connects to the universal world?
Yeah, and what's happening is, for want of a better word, here I am trying to get the right words out of the universe to
Yeah.
use right now. What's happening is people can identify with you, and it's like you said, it's opening up that connection. Now, one of the things I always say with profile building, I've done speeches on this because I go to business stuff, where I've been asked to go along and present, and they're all hiding. They're
Yeah.
hiding behind their business suits. They're hiding behind their business persona. They're hiding on social media behind their business logo.
Wow.
And I
Wow.
do this, yeah, I do this example where, I get up my logo, I've got my logo big printed, and I get up and I put my Extraordinary Beans logo in front of my face when I walk out there, you know, like this, and I'm walking behind my logo, and I'm trying to present to them from that for a few minutes. And then
Wow.
finally I throw it away. and I show my face and start speaking with them that way. And then they get the shift.
Yeah.
They get how well they've connected with me from that. You know, you're not connecting with me when
Yeah,
I've got that
no.
up in my
You're
phone. It
looking
doesn't
over,
matter
you're
what
trying to
I
see
say.
it. You're like, where is she? Where is she?
Yeah. And a lot of people are doing that. They're hiding behind their logos or their
Yes.
business persona. People will connect with you. And, you know, it's a great way to also sort out your ideal client, because let's face it,
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably not going to work with the sort of person who wants to build a big city career.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're just not a match for me, because I don't really know how to do it, because I'm not a networker. So
Yeah.
someone who wants to build a big networking type thing, that's probably not my thing.
Yeah.
So what it does when you do show your real self and tell a little bit about your life and show who you are, you'll divide people. There's either people go, oh, she's not for me,
Mm-hmm.
or wow, that's for me. And
Yeah.
that's what you do. So instead of getting a mixture of clients that some you want and some you don't really
Yeah.
want, you're going to attract and bring to you the ones that are bang on
Mm.
target and perfect for you
I
by
love
doing that.
that. I love that. I think that's what most people, you know, when I'm talking to authors, so I work with authors, men and women over 40, they're either writing memoir for their business, or they're writing nonfiction to promote some kind, coaches to promote some kind of theory, and they leave themselves out of it. You know, they actually leave themselves out of it. So I think it's great what you're saying. It's almost like even in a profile, you can almost accidentally leave yourself out of your profile, like literally, like with the logo.
Yeah. I learned this actually, you know, you spoke about my book, and that was the first thing I did when I got into the coaching, was I got that book together. And it was, again, a series of stories from myself and other women. So there was 11 of us, each telling our story of how we got out of playing ordinary and launched ourselves into our more extraordinary version of ourselves. And I remember, and I'm going to say this really honestly, there was one particular contributor to the book. And when I read her story, this was before we put it in, when I read her story, I felt it was lacking. Everyone else's was, you know, they were pouring their heart out, telling the bits that mattered for their story.
Yes, yes.
And this one was lacking, and you could actually feel it when you read the story, that she wasn't revealing all, and that there was some sort of hiding there. And when I said to her, you know, I mentioned this to her, you know, I think you need to dig in a little deeper and tell more. She said, oh, I don't want to tell the icky bit about that, because, you know, I'm a professional. And
Oh.
yet her story missed the mark. And when people would say to me what their favorite story was in that book, the favorite stories were those that bled on the page. Do you know what I mean? Like they told their bits. And that particular one, which I still ended up putting in because, you know, I had the contract and everything, and she wouldn't alter it. But that particular one, I've never had people come back and say, that was my favorite story in the book. Everyone in that book has a favorite story, and guarantee you it's the story that they identify with most. And that one, because it didn't really, you could tell it was hiding a lot, and not, that one just didn't hit the mark for practically everyone.
Yes.
So, you know, if you want to make your mark, tell people the things that matter for them, without all the, you know, we don't need the real icky details, but make sure that they're really getting it.
Yeah. Yeah. Question. Would you be where you are today if you chose not to tell your true stories?
No. And to be honest, I'm not sure how I would have done it any other way. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sitting here thinking, because my business is all online, because as I said, I'm here in a country property. There's no town or anything. I can't go networking and do the usual thing, that it had to be all online and building an online community. Part of the success of my online community is because people can connect and with each other and feel the realness in each other.
Mm-hmm.
We're not trying to be straight, hide behind that facade of business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you even think of all the names, they're doing it by telling their story so people can relate with them.
Absolutely.
So I couldn't have found another way to do it. It would have been, for me personally, impossible, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that we've reached a different level, especially with social media, in terms of 21st century business building, especially because of social media, because of being online, because of global connection now. A couple of people in the series said, yeah, everyone's bullshit monitor is really high. We can tell when someone is being fake, like.
And I would say that as well. Like, everyone just, they go bullshit, but they know you're being real and they know what's bullshit. So this stuff that was working 10 years ago, all this fake luxurious living for coach lifestyle and all that sort of stuff, people are just going, yeah, righto now. And the cars and the Ritz and all the rest of it, people are now phasing out of that. It's not impressive anymore. It's just, people were doing the same old thing, reinventing, well, not even reinventing, telling the same story over and over again.
And over.
Yeah, and that's not happening so much now. And if it does happen, you are right. People are onto it going, that's pretty,
Yes. I really, when people say, oh, I did this one thing and everything worked out and it can work out for you, I'm like, whoo, okay. But if someone says, this was not easy at first, at first it was scary and I made a lot of mistakes and I suffered and I may have even been depressed or what, there are those really honest that we can all relate to moments of starting a business, especially. And then they say, but I figured out a couple of things. Here's a little bit about what I figured out. And I would love to work with you or at least have a consult with you about how maybe I could help you too. And I think we love this idea that people are being raw about their struggle. And we trust the ones that were resilient enough to get beyond the struggle. Why do you think it is? Why do you think we really love, you don't have to be a football hero or a celebrity hero, but we love to hear about somebody who, it wasn't easy for them right away, but they had a struggle and it could have been really hard, but they got through it and we gravitate towards that. What do you think that is?
It's the hero's journey.
Yes. Agreed. Totally.
And like the best movies have got the hero's journey.
Yes.
And so if you can tell your own hero's journey, and everyone has it within us, it's natural humanity to have that hero's journey where we suffer and then we strive and then we get somewhere and then we have the setback, and so we have to pick ourselves up and go again. It's resilience, it's strength, it's all those qualities that people want within themselves. It's the hero's journey, and if you can just tap into your own,
we do have it in ourselves. That's what's
absolutely
crazy. Is with the right, I guess, with the right people around us and with the right guidance, we can start to see our struggles as just stepping stones for something else. You were the first person that nailed it on that one. That's my interpretation. I mean, there's others, like, it gives us hope, which is totally true.
It's true. That's what the hero's journey does, though. It gives that. I mean, when you look at movies like The Matrix, the Star Wars, they are all utilizing the concept of the human, the hero's journey, which is why it works so well in movies. And if it works so well in movies, it's going to work for you.
Yeah. Just as a side note, when I work with people with memoir, I worked with some mentors and they actually have you study screenplay and the arc of screenplay, which uses the hero's journey when you're writing a memoir. And a memoir not being an autobiography, not like your whole life, but like a segment of your life. So it's interesting you should say that, because there's a definite correlation between writing true stories and using screenplay to do that.
Well, I'll tell you a little secret, probably why I did nail it. I am an ex-screenwriter as well.
I love this.
So we do know, give them the hero's journey. And maybe that's why I use it quite well, obviously, in telling my own story as well. But yeah, everyone can do it. You've all got it.
You know what I love that you just did? And I think this is, this speaks to what you do for a living, and it speaks to this summit. These gems of getting to know someone, that you never know where that's going to come from, especially when you're building a profile and you're posting things here and there. I know that many people don't know I'm an award-winning and published poet. It's just a thing. I love it. Oh yeah. But people will go, oh, that I did not know that. Let me look at you a little differently from that. Or I'm a rock climber, 12 years. And so what I'm noticing about this true story in building business is that the more we're being ourselves, like you just now, you said, well, here's why, I've got some screenplay writing in my background, and my heart went, oh my God, you're going to appeal to so many of my audience here. So I love little pieces.
And so what that's also a lesson in too, which with storytelling, is not to vomit everything else out at once. Keep little mysteries around yourself and then unveil them. This is when you're audience building. And this is one thing that I teach. You don't have to lay everything on the line for them all at once in one long post that tells your entire life story. Little snippets at a time to keep your audience intrigued with you, for them to see you in another light, even more each time.
Oh, I love
that's the art of tribe building through telling your story as well. So we don't just gush it all out. You got to remain, it's like when you start a relationship, and it's the same thing with tribe building. You're building relationships with people, and they need to know about you bit by bit by bit, not all at once. It's like when you go on a dinner date and you've told your entire life story on that dinner date, and the poor guy's like, so you never get a phone call again. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Little bit. Keep the mystery around you and just bring out your little snippets bit by bit at appropriate times. Like that was an appropriate time for me just then. I just thought, oh, well, this is where I can bring in the fact that I did the screenwriting for a while.
You seem like you'd be a great coach in helping people understand how to do those little bit by bits. I think that seems like something that you would be great at training, because you probably have an array of examples in how you relate to people who hire you and say, hey, can you help me with this? It just seems like you're very personable. You like to get to know the person, and almost you teach by example, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, I do, as I said. And I get actually really close with my clients. So I'd actually help them dig out their story as well.
Nice.
And that's important, with tribe building, it's important to dig out your story bit by bit by bit. But I don't do just straight coaching. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of more mentoring, and then really, really digging in with them rather than just asking them questions and then sending them off. I'll do a lot of the work with them. But that's how I like to work, because it gets it done quicker for starters.
Yes, totally. Absolutely. So for the person out there who's nervous, who's afraid to be judged, who knows that they want to share, they know that their business is in a standstill, and they've been told, well, you need to share more of who you are, or use your story out there, write it down somewhere, or what's like one piece of advice you'd give the person who's really nervous about being judged, even if it's a normal story, like they're just not used to revealing who they are, but they have so much to offer the world? Any little bits?
Well, I wrote my story for my book. That was the first experiment that I had with telling my story and putting it out there. And it was scary, because you think there's other people in your story sometimes. And one of the things I hear most people saying when they're trying to tell their story is, I can't tell it because so-and-so will hear it and then they'll get upset. And I had that, and I did some YouTube videos as well to go with the book. And I had all these bad comments from my ex-husband and his relatives and that just slammed my YouTube channel because
Ah.
of what I had written, because my truth was not his truth. And so what did I end up doing? I ended up allowing that to close me down. I closed down the YouTube channel and I stayed quiet for a while.
Wow.
Because I let that happen.
Wow.
I think the reality is that if it's your story and your truth, which may not necessarily be someone else's truth and how they see it, you'll need to stand by that and know that whenever you tell your story, there will be certain people that will not like or will disagree with it or a point of view that you've put across. And this is what happens when you tell a story. I think every writer has had not only great feedback, but crap feedback on the same thing, haven't
Absolutely.
they?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you'll be the same. You will get those that absolutely love you because of what you've told and they identify it, while those who are just going to not like it at all, and you'll probably hear about it. And I do know that there's a lot of people, if they write blogs and then they get a whole lot of negative comments about something that they state in the blog, that will actually turn them off blogging.
I know.
What I would, yeah, and it's really sad because what we as humans do is we focus on, say, the 10% of the negative stuff rather than the 90% of the positive.
Exactly. Agreed.
So the thing to do, and I've learnt to do this now, so it doesn't matter. And I do get negative stuff at times still, especially since I'm teach my people not to sit on a fence, to take a stand. And so I get negativity because I take a stand. But what I focus on is that's only 10%. Guarantee you, it'll only be around 10%. Focus on the 90 who have gained so much
Yes.
from your story.
No, I love it. You know what? This is just, it makes me feel better because I'm like, oh, that's right. I used to have, I mean, I'm okay with it now, like you. Like it's gotten to the point where
you get used to it.
But I used to have a cork board, and a good, really, really great coach friend of mine. He used to just he took me under his wing quite a bit on my down days. And he'd sit down with my computer and he'd go, have you gotten an email saying someone loved your work or a comment? And he made me print out all the positive ones. And do you have any thank you notes recently? I was like, yeah, I got thank you notes. Let me see. And he's like, okay, we went to the store and we got a tack board. And he goes, I want you to tack all that up there. Because I was in the beginning stages 10 years ago of starting my business. And it helped so much for me to realize, you know, that that's out there. There's something else that you said that, oh, what was it? You were talking about people being scared and taking something down. Oh, I remember. It was, so when I was in grad school, I got my MFA in writing. That's why I work with writers. Well, anybody can work with writers. I just happen to get that degree. And I went to my teacher and I said, you know, they really fought over my work in class because it was a small class. It was about 10 people. And I was a little bit, whew. And he goes, yeah, but you know what? 7 of them loved your work and 3 people were pissed. That's good writing.
Yes, I was going to say. It's good tribe building too, because if you can polarize people and make a stand on something where more people love and just a few people hate, you'll be building your tribe. If you're sitting on the fence being wishy-washy, you'll never build a tribe. So exactly what you're talking about. It is, and that's when I learned that concept was when I became okay with it.
Ah, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
You are a breath of fresh air. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
I love it. I someday, I hope if I'm in your neighborhood to get a tour of all the animals. It sounds like
I did a video tour of a bit of my property in my group last weekend. Just got out the camera, you know, and walked around, showed all the kangaroos, the horses, and the chickens and everything else.
Oh, fun.
And that's another thing that we have in our group, because it is a business group. It's for coaches, you know, and change makers, authors, experts, anyone who's out there wanting to change the word with their message and their work. Yet on the weekend, we have My Life Day.
Ah,
And so people get to show videos or pictures, we especially love pictures, of what they're doing outside of their business on weekends. And even if you happen to be working on the weekend, then show that. Do you know what I mean? It's just a great way to take the business out of a business group and
that's
give it more
fantastic.
of that, kind of connection type of feel,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of business groups that they're all talking business, business, business. And I have found, because one of my special areas is actually building a tribe through Facebook groups.
Hmm.
And so I've done a lot of research on them, and I've found that the Facebook groups that are all business, 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 a lot of people go into them, but they don't want to engage because they don't feel good enough as all
Right.
the experts in them. Do you
Totally.
mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
so they go in there and they listen and they watch and they learn to gather their information, but they're intimidated.
Yes. Yes. We're
Mm,
all intimidated when by the unknown almost. If we don't know you and we only see this one facade, then it's really hard to get close.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
So
love
in my
it.
group, I make sure that we have a connection day where people can connect with one another. We have the My Life Day, and it is with the sole purpose of showing more to your life than what your business may be revealing to
Now,
us. So that
is this a group that people can sign up for?
it's a Facebook group, so
Yeah.
it's free. But you do have to request to join. You'll be able. It's one of the
I'll post it. I'll post it on the page.
yeah, okay. It's one of the more probably popular coach groups, and we are specifically not about coaching skills, but specifically about how to build your profile and get your message out there. So they're doing things like blogging, lives, video, lots of speakers, podcasters.
Nice.
And it's a great place for those of you who want to start getting used to telling your story.
Yes.
Get yourself on podcasts.
Yes.
You get to tell your story.
I know.
You
It's
know,
the
it's a
best.
great tool. Yeah, if you're not a writer, and I know you've got lots of writers and that, but if you're really good with telling your story
Oh,
verbally,
I'm a writer, but I love to talk, honey.
yeah, exactly. And podcasts. And so we have opportunity day where people come in and they put, okay, I'm looking for a guest for my podcast. This is what it is. Da, 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 da. So you can see there's a lot of connection going on, and people are really open to each other,
Yeah.
and they're gaining clients from each other as well, because people do business, as we know, with people who we know, like, and trust.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. I love it. So do you have any, you have a lot on your site. Is there a free gift you want to offer to the audience for this summit?
You can get, can I give you a special link for it? Because
Yes,
I think this
for
one
sure.
might be the best one for it.
So hold on,
Um,
let's pause for a second and then I'll splice it in. I'll say, so tell us about your free gift, and then you don't need to get it to me for another 2 weeks because
okay,
it doesn't
all
go
right.
live. So I forgot to ask you that beforehand because it was a
I'm just trying to think, yeah, which one would be best. It's actually not on my website. I have my own landing page for it,
perfect.
rather than on the actual website. So I
Yeah,
think we'll
because you'll
just,
get the
the rest
lead.
of,
Yeah.
yeah, yep.
Okay.
41, yeah, 41 steps to ignite your profile. So
Okay.
it's
Hold on, let me go. Let me say quiet. So Vanessa, you have a free gift that you were going to offer the audience. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
yeah, I have got 41 steps to ignite your profile. So they're kind of the easy steps that you can do. Don't have to spend a lot of money or anything like that. That's going to get you. You don't have to do the whole 41 either. You can pick and choose. But there are things that you can do that's going to tweak your profile and start having you, just get those initial stages of getting out and getting known as well.
Yes.
So you can follow them all the way through if you want. I get some people that just use it as a checklist and go all the way through, while some just pick and choose what they want to do.
Excellent. Thank you so much. This was such a great interview. I really loved learning more about you and learning all about the fact that you live in this beautiful spot on this beautiful land, and you still run your business by helping people build profiles as well as your own. So I learned a lot. I hope you had fun.
I did. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So Everyone, you'll get the free gift on this page, and hopefully we'll get to speak again soon, Vanessa.
Thank you.
Okay, have a great one.
I will. Thanks.
Bye.